Welcome back to UVC Chronicles, an initiative of UVC Graduates Association. I'm Varsha Bhatt from UVC, and our guest today is an inspiration in the field of entrepreneurship. Meet Mr. Bhaktha, batch of 1989, co-founder of Ezetap. For a further introduction, let's hear it from him.
ಹಾಯ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಭಕ್ತಾರಾಮ್. ಕಳೆದ ಶತಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ 1989 ಇಸ್ವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯ ತಾಂತ್ರಿಕ ವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದಿಂದ ಬಿ ಪದವೀಧರನಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆದೆ. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, first of all, very happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to be part of this podcast. Even now, I distinctly remember, the UVC KR Circle, the Quadrangle, the Gas College, the nearby theaters in Majestic. Still feels like yesterday, and I'm really happy to be part of this podcast. To quickly introduce myself, I was born and brought up in Bangalore. When Bangalore was still livable and a green city. I was born in Domlur, which is still considered outskirts. Went to a local Kannada medium school. Then did my high school and PUC in Joseph's. And then to everybody's surprise and to my surprise also, I somehow made it to UVC. UVC was the topmost college in the state in that era. And after UVCE, for a very short period of time, I was a graduate research associate in the Indian Institute of Science. Then I worked in that time a well-known company called BPL, building fax modems for laptops, fairly cutting-edge technology in the early 90s. After that, I went to US to do my master's at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. Then I joined a company called Sharp, a Japanese company, where I wrote code, the software that runs the GSM phones. Cell phones were still not there, even in the US. And that is the time we were building these phones. Again, pretty interesting work at that point in time. After that, I joined Intel in Chandler, Arizona. Worked there pretty much for a decade, working on microprocessors, modeling, and some of the wireless technology Intel was looking at. Then in 2006, for personal reasons, and also I truly believe India is the land of opportunity, moved back to India. Worked in Intel India for a couple of years, trying to put 3G modems onto laptops. For some reason, that never happened. Laptops continue to be just there with Wi-Fi and never a 3G modem. Anyway, after that, this entrepreneurship bug bit me. I quit Intel and I started on my startup journey. Struggled for a couple of years, then started Ezetap, which was a fairly big success. Building products all over India, outside India, and then now I'm on to my second leg of my entrepreneurship journey, which I will talk about it in a little bit. On a personal note, I'm married with two kids, two college going kids. I work and live in HSR, Bangalore. Um, on a lighter side, to de-stress, I do long distance barefoot running, and very very occasionally, once in a week, once in 15 days, I get on my bike and hit the highways again to de-stress. That's pretty much it, Varsha. I hope that covers it.
Yes, sir, that introduction was very interesting. The starting part about you going to a local school, to a college like Joseph's, to coming to UVC, I'm sure a lot of us can relate here as current students of UVC. But your journey beyond that is what inspires us. So thank you for sharing that with us, including the fact about you running, which also I think we should inculcate. So moving on, we know that you have a great track record of working in Intel for more than a decade now. But today, right now, we would love to know more about your entrepreneurial journey. So how exactly did it start? How did you take it forward? And Like to sustain a startup mentality for more than 10 years is not easy. It's not a piece of cake. So if you can share some challenges or hurdles in this milestone that you have achieved, it will be like a cherry on top of the cake for us.
Sure. For me, the Made in India was a big deal, a big thing 10 years ago, and even now. I think as a country, as a society, we have forgotten the art of building things. The tipping point was, when on the Outer Ring Road campus of Intel India, in, near near there was a basin early flyover. When I walk across the parking lot after parking my car, it was very strange for me to see all the nameplates on the cars were foreign, whether it is a Honda or a Toyota or a Hyundai, or if you're rich, a Mercedes Benz or a BMW. And there was only one Indian company, Tata. Not many Tata cars were there. By the way, I drove a Honda. So I think that kind of irritated me. Like, we are a big country with so many engineers, and all the cars in this parking lot are foreign. They might be manufactured in India, but they're all foreign companies designed by Japanese, Koreans, and Europeans and all. I think that set me thinking, and I said, we should do something about it, and that's what made me, one of the reasons made me, leave Intel, and start on my entrepreneurship journey. After struggling for a year or so, I co-founded Ezetap with Sanjay and Bobby. Very lucky to have them as co-founders. Sanjay is an amazing guy with a lot of networking and contacts in the industry. And Bobby, a graduate of Harvard Business School, ran the business very well and was a wonderful man on products. So we started EasyTap. Amongst a lot of things we did in EasyTap, one of the things we did, which we are very proud of, is that we built this country's first and only certified point of sale terminal. The machines where you swipe your credit cards. Everything is imported. We built, completely designed, manufactured in Whitefield, Bangalore, and deployed, more than a quarter million devices um, all over the country, and we are now deployed outside the country too. And that was the main reason for starting my entrepreneurship journey, and we achieved part of at least my personal goals. And you're right, Varsha, it is a hard journey, and it is a long journey. And one of the things that made us stick for a decade, was that we had a good product, which was not there anywhere else in this country and even outside. Number two, we were fortunate enough to obtain funding, which was necessary to sustain during the initial stages. And we were also at the cusp of the transition, right? The digitization of India, where people are ready to forget cash and go all digital. I think those are the three things that kept us going. The proudest moment for me personally was always, when somebody, one of my classmates from high school or US, UVC would call me, or, as is the modern way, would message me and said, "Hey, Bhaktha, I saw your device." That was always a pride of a moment of pride for me.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. It sounds truly motivational. I'm sure to our listeners, when they listen to this, they would definitely want to do something that makes their old schoolmates or college mates remember these people. So, when you look back now, sir, as a professional or an entrepreneur, how did UBC help you shape all of this?
Yeah. Uh, the I think here it is a mixed bag, to be completely honest. But I'll tell you my view of how UAC helped us, me in this journey. Now, first and foremost, as I mentioned before, UVC was the topmost college in the state of Karnataka at that time, and the best and the brightest from Karnataka would be there. We had, single-digit ranks from CET, 3, 5, 7 in our class. So we had fantastic classmates. I managed to squeak through. I had a three-digit rank. And so I think that helped me a lot. Number two was we had good lecturers who taught us the fundamentals very well. Fundamentals always counts, whether it is math or electrical circuits or microprocessor architecture. I think we had fantastic lecturers, Professor Virabhadrappa, Dr. HNS, Virupaksha, even the current Vice Chancellor of the university, Dr. And Professor Venugopal, Nayak. They taught us very well. I think that really has helped me throughout my career and in this startup journey. The third one is somewhat of a mixed bag. Uh, UVC was a government college and continues to be a government college. The infrastructure was not the best. Uh, the in the electronics lab, the scopes when half the scopes were not working in the digital lab. Half the patch cords were not working, half the digital kits were not working. It's all true. I mean, we should not shy away from the fact. But what that taught us, and especially me, is that you make do with what you have, right? um, I used to work for Intel both in the US and India, and they had what we call as multi-million dollar labs, and fantastic. We never used to have to struggle. But coming to the startup world, again, it's back to like being in college. I don't have a scope, I have to borrow the scope. I don't have this, I have to borrow this. I think the lessons we learned during our second and third year, I think those are the 2 years I remember distinctly for some reason. I think helped us in this startup journey to make do with little and bring out the best. I think that's a big lesson for me.
Truly, sir. So that much was about UVC, but we'd be glad if you can share your future plans in this startup journey.
Sure. After starting, we started Ezetap about a decade ago, and as I told you, we built this country's first and only certified point of sale terminal and many other firsts. And I'm now on to my second leg of my entrepreneurship journey. The details are still in the works. We are planning to do. Something big in the field of electric vehicles and bunch of other applications which need motors. The details will be known in about a month, and anybody who's interested, please drop me a line. Would be glad to um, uh, share details. But I'll tell you what we are trying to do. Um, for someone my age, it is very gratifying to see that the world is finally moving away from a hydrocarbon-based energy economy, that means a petrol-based energy economy, to an electron-based energy economy. That means more electricity drives our activities, vehicles, all the other stuff. Um, but there is one thing that is very important as we move from hydrocarbon to electron-based energy economy. There are these things called rare earths, rare earth metals like neodymium, samarium, dysprosium. These are absolutely necessary to make this transition, right? For the past 50 years or so, we were dependent on the Gulf countries for our energy needs. And it looks like if we don't do anything, for the next 50 years, we'll be dependent on China, which controls 90% of the supply chain of these rare earths. We are trying to solve this problem of the rare earth dependency as we move from a hydrocarbon based energy economy to an electron based energy economy. As I mentioned to you folks, uh, please give me a month, and we will go live with our products and with what we are doing.
Sir, I'm sure all of us will be eagerly awaiting any further updates from your startup. So, before we end this podcast, we request you to share some tips or mantras which you think will help aspiring startup enthusiasts from UVC or in general.
Sure. I'll tell you my experience. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody will have a different story, each entrepreneur. Uh, the first thing is entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. It is a hard journey. It's a very gratifying journey, and I strongly believe that everybody should go through this experience once. And entrepreneurship is not just about tech startups, right? It's not only about Ezetap or Flipkart or Swiggy. Any business, right? You go to agriculture, you go to animal husbandry, you go do something in fine arts. They're all entrepreneurships. They all have the same contours. And so, whatever is your passion, try to start a business and make a success out of it. There are three things I would like to say about entrepreneurship. One is, um, I know we all want to be rich and famous and tall and with a good skin tone and all that. I think that's all true, but you should have a more altruistic goal to become a successful entrepreneur. And the goals might be different for different people. As I mentioned several times in this podcast, for me, Made in India was a big deal. I said, you know what, we should start doing stuff. And why we should do this? Made in India gives you employment. Made in India gives you control over technology. Made in India will give us more foreign exchange. Will make us do better things. I think that is the kind of drive we should have to become a successful entrepreneur. Number two, uh, you should learn, or one should learn, at least initially for the first few years, to do everything by yourself. You cannot depend on other people, especially coming from Intel, where things used to happen magically. Coming out was very hard for me. Starting from incorporation, you have to do all the paperwork. Go look for a house to start your company. Go to SP Road to buy components. It's all back to square one. Write code, debug hardware, go do sales, go raise money, all these things. Once the company becomes big, there are other people who do this. But but you have to be ready to roll up your sleeves and do all the work. Number three, I think many people have said this before, but it is still true. Always have fun in when with whatever you're doing. That at least keeps you away from all the difficulties that this journey offers. You always believe in what you do, always have fun in what you do, and you'll always eventually succeed.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing all these with us and for your contribution towards this country. We are honestly proud to call you our alumnus. Like I said, we'll be looking forward to any updates from your startup Ezetap. And yeah, to all our listeners, that was our podcast with Mr. Bhaktha. Stay tuned for the next podcast and for any updates from the startup. Thank you.